Today we're going to talk about the simplest strength training program ever. It is something that I think everybody can do at home, and everybody can start with today. It is known as push-pull legs. Some people say squat, push, pull. It has parts of standing and lifting and even climbing and walking into it. And it's again, it's just the simplest thing you can do. It basically consists of three movements. So the first one would be a squat or a version thereof, right? So the simplest possible thing you could do is do a bodyweight squat, right? Bodyweight squat. I like reaching forward. As I said before, head and hips move together. There's whole squat videos on my Instagram. You can watch those. Do you want to make, is that too hard for you, right? It could be. Maybe you can do a limited range of motion squat, right? Where you sit to a chair. I use some blocks here because that's what I have. Or you could do an assisted squat. I'm going to be switching my camera around. Yes, I dropped the camera halfway through a video, but you're going to have to deal. So, assisted squat, I can hold on to something and squat with assistance, right? I can combine this with the limited range of motion squat, right? That would be one way of doing it. Another thing you could do is obviously, how do you make it harder? Well, add load, right? Grab a weight in front of you. Kettlebell, dumbbell, sandbag, doesn't matter. Child, right? Start making it unilateral. Any of these versions work, by the way. Like I said, my little stagger squat, right? You get up on toes here, boom. Start adding some motion to it. Make it into a lunge. Forward lunge, reverse lunge, doesn't matter. Sideways lunge, doesn't matter. Even a deadlift motion would count as a squat, right? For the purpose of this workout, hips back, hips forward. Again, for the purposes of beginner strength training, whichever one of those things feels more comfortable to you works. The same applies to everything else that we're going to talk about. The squat obviously involves aspects of a lifting pattern and a standing pattern, right? Because we stand through a squat. Now, another standing pattern, people don't often look at a standing pattern, is pushing, right? Or a push up, right? Obviously, here the simplest version would be a push up, right? So, simplest push up, down, up. You've seen a push up, right? Again, how can we make this easier? Knees down, down, up. How can we make it even easier? Maybe instead of a push-up, a push-back. Right? Especially if we see the push-up as part of standing. Push yourselves back into your heels, which would be part of getting up. Now, don't want to get on the floor for some reason? How about a standing band press? If you have some, need some extra equipment, but get into a nice staggered position and push. Still having that, using that plank, still having to engage your abdominals, your glutes to stabilize, and still working that pushing pattern. That will transfer, in my opinion, a lot more to actual functional standing patterns like a push-up than a bench press would, for example. Right? There's absolutely nothing wrong with going overhead as well and going into a press. Again, we're working on that plank. Glute tight, abs tight, and working on those upper body pushing muscles while the rest of the body stabilizes. Now, how do we make things harder? Good question. Well, obviously, for a lot of people, regular push-ups hard enough. But what if you're a badass, right? What if you're really, really strong for some reason? How about you can go into staggered push-ups, which are one of my favorites. It's kind of like the lunge equivalent of a push-up, right? Keep my hand to the side, put most of the weight in the other hand, and voila. How about we go into push-backs, but with the knees off the ground, right? You can't really see it. My knees are not on the ground right now, right? You can elevate your feet. You can, going back to our little TRX over here, and if you don't have a TRX, my wife's gonna kill me because she doesn't like you guys see my closet, but whatever. You can do push-ups on a suspension training doohickey like this one, right? It doesn't have to be a TRX. You can buy whichever one you find in sporting goods stores on Amazon for cheap. But they're very versatile for the home gym exerciser. The third movement, just gonna keep going on. Out of breath. Third movement would be a row, right? Yes, pull-ups are great exercise. But again, that would be a progression. Most basic row I usually teach people, and as I've talked about before you do an actual bent over row with weight, I want to see have a good deadlift and a good squat pattern on the person. But the cable row is accessible to almost anybody, right? And again, it's a pulling motion. Still, you're standing, you have to stabilize with the rest of your body. So there's a lot of things going on. It's an upper body pulling motion. Now, cable rows, not challenging enough for you. Once more, we can go to our trusty TRX, or trusty suspension trainer. Now, this is the opposite of a push-up, right? So we have to hold that plank position in an incline. It's still a row in motion. A little bit harder than that. Well, we could always go one arm, right? We can go one arm or any of those things, right? We can increase the incline, the TRX. If my feet get lower, oh, and now it's harder. Of course, we can always progress that to a pull-up as well. The point I'm trying to make here is that the variation doesn't matter. You find what you can do and do that, right? One squat, one push, one row. Again, squat can be lunge, deadlift, whatever. Push can be push-ups, can be overhead presses. I'm kind of anti-bench. It's an immoral lift, and you can ask me why. It'd be a good thing to write in the comments. But whatever. Obviously, we can always get down to some bent over rows, right? Bent over rows, again, it's a part of the lifting pattern. It's a very functional thing to do because, well, we often have to bring things to us before we lift them in real life. That TRX row can easily be over time progressed to an actual pull-up. And as well as it can be made extremely easy to do by having the person basically vertical. Almost anybody can do a suspension row as long as they're manage that incline, right? Now, how do we progress these things, right? How do we know we're doing hard enough or often enough? Well, again, let's go just equally as simple as an old school. Way back when, this guy named DeLorme studied a bunch of military people who were sick, right? And he tried to put muscle on them. And he came up with the DeLorme method, which you've all seen, 3 sets of 10. But 3 sets of 8 to 12, really. And what they did was they did an easy set, a medium set, and a hard set. That works for everybody, right? You end up with somewhere in the vicinity of 20 to 35 reps total. If you can do much more than 25 reps, the weight's probably too light for strength training. And if you're asking me, oh, but I just want to do endurance training because I don't want to get bulky, right? Understand that being strong improves your endurance because everything you do is easier. And nobody can get bulky with this amount of work. It's not enough. Getting big is hard. You have to eat a lot of food. So anyhow, so that method is great, right? Do an easy set, and an easy set with a squat, right? It could be, squats to a high place, squats to a slightly lower place, right? That can be, you can go from easy to hard, or it can be increasing the weight, right? If you're holding a weight. It could be increasing the slide, the incline, and that TRX row I just showed you. It could be adding bands, or picking heavier bands. So this little band doohickey, you can add extra bands, or whatever. You can pick heavier bands. It could be standing farther away from the band anchor. Whatever increases the load, the difficulty, could be changing the exercise or adding actual physical load. That'll work. So first one's easy, second one's medium, third one should be hard, right? Take a day off in between, go for a walk, go for a jog, go for a bike ride. I like walking and jogging better. If you can't run, walk. Walk a lot. Walking is good for you. You can't really argue that one. And yeah, that's about it. If you have any questions, ask. That's great. I'll make another video. Do this at home today. Everyone.